What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to my Agatha season review. I was going to say season 1, but it's a limited series, obviously. I don't remember when to see a season 2 of Agatha for sure. I just want to be upfront before I get into the review. Obviously, anybody here who watched my trailer reactions for Agatha knows I was not looking forward to this at all. I'm not going to hide that fact. I'm not going to let on that it was something I was buzzing about. I thought it was going to be terrible. I thought it was going to be unnecessary. I honestly thought if Bob Iger had came in a bit sooner, came back to Disney a bit sooner, and before it was fully filmed, I think he would have sacked it off. Same with Ironheart, I think he would have sacked it off too. But I can admit when I'm wrong, for sure. I think it could be up there with the best overall series in terms of writing, acting, just like how well it looked with Loki season 1 and 2. I think like it nailed everything, beginning, middle, end. I think when you take into account this came out now, it was the lowest budgeted Marvel show at 40 million. Like Echo was just over 40, but that was for 6 episodes. Agatha all along obviously at 9. It was done a lot more as a big premiere format, similar to like the way they did WandaVision as well. They sort of made it like event TV, but obviously not with like as bigger characters. I will admit, like Agatha was an amazing show. I will get into specific reasons. I will get into obviously the big talking points, but I was wrong 100%. Like even from the first episode, like I will say the first episode I wasn't completely gripped by the whole True Detective parody style. I think the first episode comes 10 times better in retrospect when you watch episode 6, obviously from Teen's perspective, and you realise Agatha was just basically off her head all along. She was just completely crazy. Obviously all the stuff that was happening, the likes of the interrogation room and all wasn't there. Everything was different. Teen didn't actually get smashed by Mrs. Hart's car. He just ran into the door gently. That did make episode 1 way better to watch back, and even funnier. Catherine Hahn killed it. I will say that I think the characters in this are so strong. Like that's another thing that makes it a lot similar to Loki. Obviously you've got Ki Hong Quinn, and you've got Owen Wilson, you've got Loki himself, you've got Sylvie. You've got a big supporting cast here full of quality actors, and Agatha has that too. And like there's not even loads of the ones in Agatha's Coven are fantastic characters. All throughout, everyone's gets their own backstory, gets their own specific episode, and it all feels earned. I will say, I'll just say it now, I'll get it out of the way. Episode 7, anyone who's seen Agatha knows what episode 7's about. Paddy the Pone's basically episode. Like everyone before was asking why have they given Lilia such a small role but hired Paddy the Pone, because she's such a juggernaut actress that it doesn't really make sense for her to have these small parts. Yeah, episode 7 is why you hire Paddy the Pone. 10 out of 10 episode, 100%. In my opinion, probably the best written episode Marvel has ever done of anything. Probably ahead of anything on Loki. Give Paddy the Pone an Emmy right now is all I can say, because that episode was absolutely incredible. Filming the whole thing out of sequence, but bringing it all together, like she's displaced in time. A concept explored in Loki, obviously with his shifting, but it's used so well here, and it ends with, obviously, spoiler alert if you haven't seen it, her noble sacrifice at the end, and she takes out the Salem 7, which is another big thing. Like the Salem 7 were being built up to be like the villains of this piece, and episode 7 they're killed, not relatively smartly but easily, by Paddy's character Lilia, but then it becomes clear who the real bad guy is. Well, you can't really call her a bad guy either, but we'll get on into it. Joe Locke's teen character, we know his name now, but he obviously started off as teen. He did fantastic as both William Kaplan and Billy Maximoff. He was incredible. Obviously, we all sort of guessed he was Billy Maximoff, and we get the backstory, which I actually thought was an incredible episode, but I will get into more detail now, because there's one thing, obviously, we have to discuss about that episode. I think it was one of the better episodes. I think his backstory was fantastic. I loved, like, they didn't use any fancy effects when the soul of Billy was going into the Williams body, you could just hear like a bit of sound design. You could hear the heartbeat stopping, and then all of a sudden it's Billy waking up asking for Tommy. So obviously we know one of Wanda's kids are very much alive. And we also find out that Lilia is the one that put the sigil on Billy himself, which meant that he could not be detected. So essentially Lilia is the one to blame for all of the people from Doctor Strange 2 Multiverse of Madness who were killed by Wanda, because she couldn't sense her kids in this universe, but she could have if Lilia hadn't have done that. So that's another big thing with ramifications, but obviously she felt it was better that the Scarlet Witch went the way she did and perished, which I don't believe, but it was a fantastic episode, and it really made us all care so much more about Teen. I thought he was doing brilliant before, but it made it 10 times better after that. But the whole Reddit Ralph Bohner thing with Evan Peters again, see, when it was revealed, like it was leaked quite heavily that the secret character in episode 7 was going to be Evan Peters returning as Ralph Bohner. Obviously people were getting excited. It's like, oh, there's no way they would do the same joke again from WandaVision that annoyed so many people. They did. It did sour the episode a little bit for me. Not much. It was still a very good episode. Evan Peters, I thought, acted a lot better than what he did in WandaVision. He's obviously acting like he has PTSD now. He's obviously described in great detail what he has to go through after what Agatha did. It is very well acted out. I think people were expecting him to come up, and maybe there was theories that maybe Tommy's soul went into him. Maybe he died and he was taken over. Maybe that he has continued to have the Quicksilver powers from Agatha or from WandaVision, sorry. There was plenty of rumours. Nope, he's still just a struggling actor. I think they've actually also just gotten rid of the point, or the plot point where he was meant to be Jimmy Woo's missing witness. That doesn't seem to be the case at all, because his name is still Ralph Bohner, which means it was not a secret identity, which means it was just his real name. He was just a resident of Westview who was mind controlled by both Wanda and then Agatha, which it's like a horrible thing to hear, but it's, if we don't get a Quicksilver Prime plucked from another universe after Secret Wars, and if it isn't Evan Peters, I am generally going to be annoyed. We need another Quicksilver. He's a fantastic character, and we do need another one. I know we're going to get Tommy as a Quickster soon enough, probably Young Avengers, but that does not matter. I want Evan Peters as Quicksilver. You probably can't have two of them in the same series, but it is what it is. Next talking point, Aubrey Plaza as Death. Unbelievable. It's probably some of the best casting I've seen since the likes of Chris Evans as Captain America, Downey Jr. as Iron Man. I might be overplaying it a bit, but Aubrey Plaza is perfect as Death. The design of Death, which was revealed obviously in Paddy DePone's episode, is incredible. It's not too much over the top. They've just got the lower half of her face to look like a skull. Incredible. It's like her relationship with Agatha throughout the whole series is brilliant. It's like a dance with death, essentially. We all sort of guessed that the kiss of death was coming for sure, probably in the season finale, but they did it an episode before. Agatha sacrificing herself. We're still in spoiler territory, obviously. The whole thing's going to be spoilers. This Agatha sacrificing herself for Teen / Billy is incredible storytelling. Obviously it's revealed in an episode later how she let her own son down. She didn't give him what he needed. She taught him the wrong ways, and obviously death came for him as well. So she still feels that guilt. Even on the Witch's Road, her thing at the end is that she has to let her son go, essentially. And if you had have told me at the start of Agatha that we were going to get comic aggregate, I can't even say that word, Agatha, old Agatha in essentially Jedi ghost form, leading Billy Maximoff to look for his brother, I would not have believed you for 1 second. They essentially killed the main character but kept him around. What I love the way Agatha in this series is no matter how much character growth she seemed to be making, you always thought, yeah, she's not going to do the right thing. She's definitely not going to do the right thing here. I really, really thought that for the whole time that Agatha was going to just steal everybody's powers at the end, or maybe even wish at the end of the Witch's Road for to bring the coven back. Turns out the Witch's Road isn't even real. It was just another hex, essentially, done by Billy Maximoff. But what people that aren't understanding, people that are taking it as, oh, he can create hexes or alternate realities just like his mother. He created a wish granting system because obviously Jennifer got her powers back through this hex, that she got her powers back in the real world. Like, Billy himself granted his own wish to bring Tommy back. He essentially watched Tommy's soul go into the body of, sadly, a young boy who was drowning, and then obviously Agatha managed to let go of her own pain and then end up redeeming herself later on. He basically he built a wish granting system, and that's incredible. Like, that's major league power here for the son of the Scarlet Witch. Like, that's what he is. He might think his own parents are still his parents, or William's parents are his parents. They're not. It's definitely going to be Wanda and Vision. Obviously they're on the right to save Tommy now, or just find him, help him understand his powers. There's going to be like a teenage boy running around with Quicksilver powers. That just sounds like a Days of Future Past all over. He'll be stealing everything. When Agatha is fighting Rio or Death in episode 8, I absolutely love that the introduction of Wiccan. Like, he just shows up, blows Death away. He's wearing the suit, and he looks incredible. The Young Avengers is building up so well. I don't think we're going to get to see them like in any sort of project until after Secret Wars. I really don't. I don't think there's time for it. But it also is an excuse to keep them away from Secret Wars. Like, Billy and Tommy are going to be too busy looking for probably Vision. Vision Quest is coming up. I think Vision will be kept out of Secret Wars as well. But Wanda definitely won't. Wanda will find them all after Secret Wars. You've got the likes of Miss Marvel recruiting the likes of Kate Bishop and all. They're too busy with stuff like that. So it'll just be more mainstream Avengers for Secret Wars. But the finale as well, obviously the backstory of how Agatha's origin story, essentially, about how she used to con people on the Witch's Road, which never existed, and just to steal their powers when they got angry at her. It was fantastic. Her relationship with her son, how they made the song of the Witch's Road, fantastic as well. Everything about it was fantastic. Everything I said about I didn't think Agatha needed her own spin-off show, I take back. I 100% take back. Like, out of 9 episodes, like, I've seen the ratings on IMDb and all that, and Rotten Tomatoes and all that stuff, and I think only 2 out of 9 episodes got less than 8 out of 10. Like, that's nuts. There was one episode got like 4 out of 10, and that was the really short one, I think. But even that still ended with the revelation that obviously Billy was Billy, and he had the Scarlet Witch crown and all that. But everything else was like a solid 8 out of 10. The 2-part finale were both episodes were 9 out of 10 easy. And episode 7 was 10 out of 10. Like, that is so consistent, and I really think it was incredible. That gives me optimism for the future. That is like, Agatha was one of the shows that was not rushed. It was ordered during the time when Disney were demanding more Disney Plus content, but they took their time over it, and they really, really, really made sure it was fantastic. The fact they were able to make that for 40 million with practical effects and just sound design most of the time was incredible. Yes, we went a bit CGI in the final 2 episodes, but it was still unbelievable. I'm really looking forward to where the story goes. I'm looking forward to seeing Billy and Agatha, Ghost Agatha, looking for Tommy. Apparently Tommy is allegedly in the Vision Quest series, so he's probably going to have some memories of his father, which is Vision. He's going to seek out Vision. They're all going to meet up probably, and probably take on Ultron. Apparently Armor Wars is also meant to be incorporated in the Vision Quest because Armor Wars is essentially cancelled. But I am looking forward to it more than anything. I do think that Wanda will meet her family again, and there'll be a big story dynamic going into Phase 7, 8 and 9. I am really looking forward to it. Agatha all along, if I had to give it a rating out of 10, I'd give it an 8.5 out of 10. I think that's fair. Most of the episodes rates 9s and 10s, so I'm going to give it an 8.5. I think if I had been more connected to the character before we went into it, it would be even bigger for me. But they literally turned a naysayer or an absolute doubter and an absolute fan of the show. Like, it's something you can go back and rewatch. Like, it really is. And that's not something that you can always say about Marvel shows. The only Marvel shows I physically rewatched are Hawkeye, Falcon, Loki and WandaVision, which is a lot of them actually. I still haven't rewatched Midnight. I will. I love Midnight. Miss Marvel haven't rewatched. She-Hulk haven't rewatched. But this is definitely rewatchable, especially every Halloween you could pop this on. I loved a lot of the horror elements. I loved the Exorcist episode. It was fantastic. And before I leave, the story beat of Agatha always forgetting Mrs. Hart's name is the funniest thing ever. He just doesn't know who that is. That was fantastic. But great show, great cast, great writing, great acting. It's amazing what happens when Disney and Marvel actually take their time over their projects, isn't it? That just makes me more excited for the MCU. And we finally broke the MCU curse of good, bad, good, bad. We obviously had Deadpool and Wolverine, which was amazing. And we had Agatha all along, which was amazing. So the curse is broken, in my opinion. Until Brave New World comes out, I'm assuming I just cannot see that being that good. I'm a bit negative, but I'm a big Captain America fan, so it's got a lot to live up to me, and I am generally worried about the budget is ballooned over 300 million now, and it would mean that they need to make about 600 to 700 just to break even. That worries me. Do I think they'll do it? No. But here's to hoping. Thank you for watching, guys. Remember, it's an 8.5 out of 10 for me. If you guys want to put your own ratings in the comments down below, please work away. If you want to have a discussion about the series, work away as well. Don't worry about spoilers. If anyone's clicking on a series review, there's going to be spoilers. Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that stuff you guys like to do, and I shall see you on the next one.